In the deep south of Germany, nestled among the towering peaks of the Alps, lies a region where wild nature, a turbulent history, and adventure come together. Sheer mountain cliffs, mirror-like lakes, hidden trails, and dramatic gorges make this a place you simply can't afford to miss. In this video, I'll take you to the most beautiful places this southern region of Germany has to offer. Welcome to Berchtesgaden Alps. I visited this beautiful region for 4 days at the end of June and started right away with one of the most historic landmarks in the area, the hike to the Eagle's Nest. From the Offnerboden parking lot, the route is about 6 kilometers long, with an elevation gain of around 700 meters. Just before the top, you reach the bus station, because yes, it's also possible to take a bus and then ride the beautiful brass elevator at the end of the long tunnel up to the Kehlsteinhaus. I chose to hike the entire way up on foot, including the final kilometer. Once at the top, the view is truly breathtaking. From this point, you can see a large part of the region, including the Königssee. At over 1,800 meters above sea level stands the Kehlsteinhaus, built in 1938 as a gift for Hitler's 50th birthday. Due to its remote location, construction was technically very challenging and extremely costly. The house was intended as a representative reception space for diplomats, but Hitler himself only visited a few times. Because the symbolic importance of the site remained relatively small, and because of its tourism potential, it was not destroyed after the war, unlike many other Nazi structures. It's a unique experience to walk through this building, which now serves as a restaurant. On the sun terrace, there's an exhibition about the wartime period, and inside you'll find historical photos of Hitler at the site. This makes walking through the building not only impressive, but also quite emotionally charged. As beautiful as the surroundings are, the place clearly reflects a darker chapter in history. From the house, you can hike further up to the mountain's summit and continue with a scenic loop walk of several kilometers. This rugged and stunning area is definitely worth a visit, allowing you to truly take in this extraordinary place. I took the same trail back down and arrived at the parking lot about 4 hours later. This parking area is located along one of the most beautiful mountain roads in Germany, the Rossfeld Panorama Straße. With a total length of over 15 kilometers and a highest point of 1,570 meters, it is the highest panoramic toll road in Germany. Along the way, you'll find several parking spots with stunning viewpoints, from which you can also start beautiful hikes. The road was originally partially constructed as part of the planned Alpine route of the Third Reich, but it wasn't completed until the 1950s and 60s. The toll fee is €9.50 per car, but since you're free to park anywhere along the route to explore and hike, it's well worth the price. Not far from the northern end of this road, I ended the day with one last hike through the Almbachklamm. This trail winds through a stunning gorge, following steep rock walls via stairs, bridges, and wooden walkways. The many waterfalls, narrow passages, and turquoise waters make this one of the most spectacular short hikes in the region. The full loop is about 6 kilometers long, with an elevation gain of 200 meters, and takes roughly 1.5 to 2 hours to complete. The first paths here were built in the early 1800s for timber transport, and were later expanded and made safer for tourism. If you love nature and hiking, this is a spot you simply can't miss during your visit. I started my second day on the shores of the Königssee for a long hike through the mountains. To reach the trailhead, I took the Jennerbahn cable car from the village up to the mountain station. This lift is relatively new. It was built in 2017 to replace the old one and takes you to the top in about 11 minutes. From the station, you can take a short walk to the summit of the Jenner, where a breathtaking view awaits. At an elevation of 1,874 meters above sea level, nature reveals itself at its finest. From here, you also have a stunning view of the Königssee, surrounded by steep limestone cliffs. Back at the mountain station, I began the long trek toward the Schneibstein. The trail first descends several hundred meters, before climbing about 600 meters up to the summit. One special feature of this hike is that part of the route runs along the border with Austria, offering spectacular views of the nearby Austrian mountain ranges. The broad, flat summit offers a panoramic view of the rugged landscape all around. From there, I continued my route southward. Although the trails were in good condition, there was still snow alongside the path. With the warm weather and many sunny kilometers, grabbing a handful of snow to cool off felt incredibly refreshing. As I continued, the route became more and more beautiful. The Alpine landscape here is truly breathtaking. Narrow paths led me about 4 kilometers to a hidden gem in the mountains, the stunning Seeleinsee. This unique alpine lake, measuring about 110 by 50 meters, has no visible outflow and is situated at over 1,800 meters above sea level. Surrounded by towering limestone peaks, it's a wonderfully peaceful and idyllic spot, perfect for a break after a demanding hike. For me, this marked the southernmost point of the route, and from here a steep and challenging forest descent began. After a short rest at the Breathtaking, I hiked the final 7 kilometers back down to the valley station of the cable car. In total, this route covers just over 21 kilometers, and including breaks, it took me more than 9 hours to complete. It's a demanding hike, with around 800 meters of ascent and 1,800 meters of descent. I highly recommend taking the very first gondola up, just like I did, so you can enjoy a full day immersed in this stunning, rugged piece of nature. After 2 days of long hikes, I took things a bit easier on the third day and visited the spa town of Bad Reichenhall, located in the northern part of the region. This charming town is known for its healing salt springs, salt production, and historic Old Town. Salt extraction began here more than 2,000 years ago, and in the 19th century, interest grew in salt inhalation and therapeutic brine baths. This also led to the creation of the Königlicher Kurgarten, a royal spa garden developed under the direction of King Maximilian II. It's a true oasis within the town, featuring Mediterranean touches and stately trees. One of the most remarkable features is the House, an open-air inhalation facility measuring 160 meters long and 13 meters high. Here, highly concentrated brine cascades over a wall of blackthorn twigs, creating a fine salt mist that visitors can breathe in. Scientific studies have shown that just 30 minutes in this environment can help refresh and clear the upper airways. Next to this impressive structure is the Wandelhalle, where you'll find the elegant Kaiser Karl fountain. But the park itself is also stunning. With its many flowers, fountains, and architectural gems, it's a serene space where nature, health, and culture come together. Because the park is free to visit, it's the perfect place to relax at any time of day, which is especially welcome after 2 intense days in the mountains. The historic center of Bad Reichenhall mostly dates back to the 19th century. In November 1834, a devastating fire swept through the town. Schools, the hospital, and churches were destroyed, and only 24 of the more than 300 houses remained standing. The fire was so intense that even money had melted, and the cobblestones had burned into lime. The king ordered the town to be rebuilt, with a strong focus on modernizing salt production. This led to the construction of the old salt works, which can still be visited today. Construction began in 1837, and today it is the oldest surviving inland salt works in Europe. A guided tour of around 45 minutes starts at the enormous water wheels, each with a diameter of 13 meters. These wheels have been turning continuously since 1846, powered by water from the Alpine valleys. From there, the tour continues into underground tunnels, where you can see clearly how different sections were added over time. Inside the tunnels is an ingenious mechanical system that transfers the motion of the water wheels through shafts and gears to piston pumps deep underground. These pumps bring the concentrated brine up from a natural spring. The brine contains about 27% salt, compared to only 3.5% in seawater. It was once used to produce table salt, but today it serves primarily for therapeutic inhalation. Walking through this historic tunnel system, where white gold has been extracted for centuries, is a unique experience. One of the highlights is the natural cave you enter near the end of the route. It was discovered in 1795 during the search for new salt springs. When the salt works were built around 1837, part of the cave was reinforced with brick walls and vaulted ceilings to prevent collapse. At the end of the tour, a small exhibition offers deeper insight into the salt production process and how the salt is used today. Since 1929, salt production has taken place at a new facility. The original site now supplies brine exclusively to the nearby spa complex. This old industrial heritage, so closely connected to the spa tradition, is something you definitely shouldn't miss during your visit to this remarkable town. The exhibition also gives a clear impression of what the town once looked like, complete with city walls and towers. Some of these historic structures have been preserved to this day. Just outside the old town center, you'll find Gruttenstein Castle and the Pulverturm Tower. Both were built in the 13th century as part of the town's fortifications. This medieval city wall was constructed to protect the salt production and the town itself, clearly showing just how important the salt springs were during the Middle Ages. Although the town itself is beautiful, the surroundings are just as breathtaking. Heading west, I made a stop at the Wallfahrtskirche St. Pancras. Perched on a rocky plateau 145 meters above the valley just outside the town, it offers a stunning view of the surrounding landscape. The church can be reached via a path with 264 steps and was first mentioned in records in 1427. The current Baroque building was completed in 1686 and constructed to accommodate the large number of pilgrims who visited the site. About 150 years later, it was nearly demolished due to its deteriorating condition, but local resistance prevented that from happening. Later, it was discovered that the church was the wealthiest in the entire region. Its assets were estimated at what would now be over 5 million euros, an extraordinary amount for such a small pilgrimage church. While it once thrived with visitors, it is now rarely open to the public and mostly inaccessible. Next to the church is another remarkable site, the ruins of Kehlsteinhaus Castle. Built in 1150, it fell into decay in the 17th century. After a brief stop at the nearby Thumbsee, the weather began to turn and rain set in. I continued on to another remarkable lake, the Hintersee. Between rain showers, I walked the trail that circles this small, idyllic lake, a route of just under 3 kilometers. The lake was formed around 4,000 years ago, when 15 million cubic meters of rock came crashing down and created a natural dam. Originally, the lake was much larger, but due to modifications to the Klausbach stream around 1900, it now covers only about a third of its original size. Walking around the lake, it's easy to see why this place has been loved for centuries. In the 19th century, several landscape painters came here to capture the crystal clear water and the dramatic mountain backdrop in their work. At the end of the day, I drove one last scenic mountain route and made a short stop at Scharitzkehlalm. Nestled beneath steep rock faces, this is a place well worth visiting, especially in the evening, when a serene calm settles over the valley and the sound of grazing cows' bells echoes gently through the air. From above, the beauty of the surrounding landscape becomes even more apparent. As evening fell, I made one final visit to the town of Berchtesgaden, located in the heart of the region that shares its name. I started at the Christuskirche, completed in 1899 in neo-Gothic style. While there are many churches in this town, it remains the only evangelical Lutheran church in Berchtesgaden. Much of the neo-Gothic interior was removed during renovations in the 1960s, but the church still retains its charm. I followed a walking path that climbs along the steep rock walls and offers a wonderful view over the town. This route was once used to carry brine pipelines from Berchtesgaden to Reichenhall. The town itself has a cozy, atmospheric center with beautifully decorated facades, inviting cafes, and lively shopping streets. The most remarkable building is Schloss Berchtesgaden, originally founded in 1102 as a monastery. It was later expanded into a princely abbey with territorial power over the surrounding lands. In later centuries, the castle served as a royal hunting lodge for the Bavarian royal family and still functions today as the summer residence of the House of Wittelsbach, descendants of the Bavarian monarchy that was abolished in 1918. Even in the evening, the town remains lively, with music, full terraces, and a cheerful atmosphere. Although unfortunately, I still had to deal with a few passing rain showers. Berchtesgaden is a town you absolutely shouldn't miss. Whether during the day or in the evening, there's always something to experience. The final day of my visit to this beautiful part of Germany has arrived. Over the past few days, I've seen many stunning places, but Berchtesgadener land is perhaps best known for one in particular, the Königssee, where I'm about to take a boat trip. This lake is around 7.7 kilometers long and is considered one of the most beautiful and iconic lakes in Germany. Surrounded by steep rising mountains, the landscape feels almost fjord-like, and it's no surprise that it's part of a national park. On the way, the boat makes a short stop to demonstrate the famous echo of the Königssee. A trumpet is played, and you hear the sound echo multiple times across the silent water. It's a special moment on this remarkably peaceful lake. After about 35 minutes, I get off at St. Bartholomä Church, located halfway down the lake. This iconic Baroque chapel, dating from 1697, is one of the most photographed spots in the region. Next to the church stands the former hunting lodge of the Prince Archbishops of Salzburg, which was later used by Bavarian royalty. Instead of taking the boat back, I decide to hike through the mountains to return to the village. It's a long trek, but as I climb higher, the views of the lake and surrounding peaks only become more impressive. The route itself becomes more adventurous too, with steel steps guiding you up along steep rock walls. Walking along narrow paths in beautiful weather with views like these, it's pure enjoyment. The climb, however, is tough. After about 6 kilometers, I reach the highest point, located roughly 800 meters above the lake. Although the entire trail offers stunning vistas, the viewpoint here is a perfect place to take a break and soak in the scenery with a real sense of accomplishment. The second part of the route is flatter, and the descent begins gradually. I make a stop at a beautiful Alpine hut for a short break, where the view is once again breathtaking. A small chapel nearby stands quietly against the mountain backdrop, dedicated to all those who lost their lives in the Berchtesgaden Alps. Before starting the long descent, I take a short detour to climb one final peak, the Grünstein. At an altitude of over 1,300 meters, it offers panoramic views of the region and a clear view of the northern end of the lake and the village of Schneibstein am Königssee, where the boats depart. After a steep and strenuous descent, I arrive back in the village. Along the way, I pass the old dam, originally built in 1560. After being destroyed by floods, it was rebuilt in stone in 1797 and later renovated in the 20th century. Schneibstein am Königssee is the largest tourist destination in the region and also the southernmost municipality in all of Germany. It's the perfect place to relax after a hike through the mountains that took more than 7 hours. With this iconic boat ride and mountain hike, my journey through this beautiful southern region of Germany sadly comes to an end. It's a place I last visited about 13 years ago, and now I've finally had the chance to explore it in depth. And while I already knew it was a beautiful area, it has truly exceeded all my expectations. Beyond the well-known highlights, there are so many hidden gems to discover here. In the next video, I'll take you along the Großglockner Hochalpenstraße, one of the most stunning panoramic mountain routes in all of Europe. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss the next part of my journey through the Alps. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.